Hello everyone, welcome to Keeping It Real. I'm Patrick Salerno, and today we are with Dr. Kathy Hyber. So why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Well, I have been a veterinarian in this community for 35 years. I moved here from Ohio in 1979, and I'm a graduate of Ohio State University School of Veterinary Medicine.
What made you want to become a vet?
That's an easy question for most of us veterinarians. We love animals, and in addition to that, the excitement of being able to solve problems on a daily basis and help people with their pets, and being able to provide good advice, and then being able to have the skill set to do many medical procedures has been always an exciting career choice and challenge.
That's very interesting. So today we're here to talk about summer and how to take care of your pets during the summer. So what are some of the common problems that most pets face during the summer?
Well, today we had some real heat and humidity finally, and I think everybody felt it, and our pets feel it as well. Since our common household pets like dogs and cats and even rabbits don't have the ability to sweat like people do, they need to pant in order to help get rid of some of their extra heat. So a lot of times people will notice that their animals will have panting, more so the dogs, occasionally bunnies, people will see that with them. Cats generally just take it real easy and are a lot quieter, so you'll notice that they might seem a little lethargic or less interested in playing than usual when the heat and humidity rises. Now, when we have air conditioning in the home, changes the equation a little bit, and I think that none of us feel the effects of outdoor heat and humidity when that's the case. But when we take our pets out in this kind of weather, we have to be aware of what their health status is, what their fitness level is, and some of the coat conditions. Some very heavily coated dogs wouldn't do very well if you took them out for a jog in hot weather.
So what kind of things would happen? Like how would we know?
Well, the serious conditions would be something like a heat stroke or heat exhaustion, and of course that would be an animal who would be panting severely, having breathing difficulties, and potentially not being able to move at a certain point. When we take their temperatures, they're very elevated. Do you have any idea what a normal temperature is for a dog or a cat?
I know it's higher than humans, but
Good.
not exactly.
Okay, so between 100 and 102.5 is usually the normal temperature for our domestic pets in our house. And in this case, dogs and cats can have temperatures well over 105. And that becomes very dangerous and life-threatening, so it's a medical emergency. But hopefully people will use good common sense and keep their pets in a cool environment, someplace where there's reasonable ventilation, and of course provide them with adequate access to water.
So let's say someone's going out, they know that they have to take their dog with them, it's going to be a while. Is there stuff that they should bring, or how should they prepare in order to prevent some of the common problems?
Well, we have the first rule is never leave your pet in a car in the summer months. Even if you leave the windows open, there still may not be enough ventilation so that they could have a problem with the heat getting up quite high. And of course, if the windows are shut, a car can become like an oven and a furnace, and that's very dangerous. If you're going to be out with your pet, make sure that you're taking it somewhere there is proper shade and access to water, so take your own water with you if you're going someplace where you might need to give them something to drink, because just changing water can sometimes interfere with their gastrointestinal system, cause some little upsets, occasionally diarrhea, so being prepared with that, and knowing whether it's the proper environment. So I think that's a good question.
So really look at what kind of dogs fit in certain places and whether or not it's wise to actually bring them there.
Correct, because they may not enjoy it. We just had a wonderful event in our town. We had Woofstock, and Petey is here with us, and Petey's sporting her makeup from the event. And she had a good time there, but a lot of dogs did not, because they were not that comfortable with a lot of other animals around. And I'll take that back. The majority of dogs really did have a great time with their owners, but there was definitely a need to seek out shade at a certain point, and there was access to water for all of the animals. And then as a pet owner, you want to know how to read your dog's body language to see whether they're giving you signs that they're really stressed. So panting is one sign, and of course when it's hot, you'd have to say whether it's from the heat or from the environment. And then yawning is actually a sign that sometimes pets are having some distress and lack of comfort, and they're trying to adjust to the environment with that. So if you're in a stressful situation, perhaps you have company at your house and your pet's sitting there and giving these big yawns. It isn't always that they're tired. It be because they're feeling a little bit of apprehension or fear.
Mm-hmm. So the dog that I have, her name is Molly. She's getting up there. She's about 12, 13 years old now. What special precautions are needed for some of the older dogs?
Oh, it's so important to make sure that they have a regular veterinary checkup at least once or twice a year. We very commonly see pets that have gotten a little heavy in their weight. How do you think Molly's weight is?
She's actually pretty good.
Okay, and so by keeping their weight normal, that allows them to have the best chance for the best mobility that their genetics gives them, because of course some animals have arthritis in their joints. Hips and knees are very common to be a problem in dogs, and also elbows. And so by keeping them a proper weight, we don't see the severity of arthritis that we would in our overweight pets. And that's pretty common, Patrick, for us to see overweight pets these days.
So what are some things, because I know in the summer it's even harder to exercise some of these animals because it's so hot and they don't want to do anything. And with the added weight, they're hotter than usual. So how can we get them to exercise without really weighing them down with all the heat?
Well, we're going to take them out early in the morning or later at night so that we can do it when it's much cooler. Swimming is one of the best exercises. So if you have access to a pool, pond, lake, being able to get the animal in the water and swimming on their own, or even with this little floaties that they make for dogs, can be very helpful and help them retain the mobility in their legs, as well as maybe get some weight off.
That's very interesting. Now there's something else too. I know that you do a lot of things with like students and the community. So I guess if you would like to tell the audience some of the things that you do to help reach out to maybe young people that want to become vets and other things like that?
Well, at our animal hospital, we really encourage students who have an interest in being veterinarians to spend some time in an animal hospital and other work environments that have animals. So pet stores, shelters, working farms, or some of the demonstration farms that we have in the area, so that they can have an experience around animals and also see what the job really entails. I'm also very fortunate to be able to provide a program through the 4-H of Cooperative Extension, and twice a year we run a program at South Putnam Animal Hospital with the help of some other volunteers to teach students between the ages of 9 and 13 what it might require to become a veterinarian, and also some of the skills that we have as veterinarians. We try to share that with the students. So I know you got to take the course. What was one of your fond memories of the experience?
One of the things I really liked is we got to go to the horse training place in the facility, and the person that ran it actually came to the vet office to teach us about some things first. I thought that was very interesting to actually get to work with the larger animals as well.
Okay. And when we do the program with the students, we also do some hands-on work, so that we teach students how to listen with a stethoscope, trim nails, really do a general physical exam. One of the things that we always talk about as a veterinarian is that we're health detectives, so we have to use our senses. So perhaps you can remember, which of the 5 senses do we use as a veterinarian?
I'm going to say all of them.
Okay, well, I generally don't use my sense of taste. Okay, so we usually use our sight. We're going to be looking at them. We're going to use our hearing. We're going to use our sense of smell. Not always a good thing to be smelling, but there are different odors that might be associated with different kinds of illness, but just having a general awareness. I mean, many people have pets that don't smell so good. So one of the most common places that we have problems with disease is in their mouth. And so dental disease is something that we stress as well. And then, of course, sense of touch, so feeling, because part of the exam is going to be doing a physical exam by putting our hands on the animal and feeling for lumps or bumps, and then any changes that might be present in their abdomen, and of course in their joints if they're having walking issues, things like that.
I remember another thing that I really enjoyed about it was not only working with all the animals, you really get to have a sense of what it's like with meeting so many different of the animals and how nice all of them were. Like they all were, even though they were in a stressful situation in a place they didn't know, they were still very approachable with all of us. And one of the things I found particularly interesting is we got to look at x-rays and other things like that, which I thought was really cool. And then we actually saw some of the animals that the x-rays were taken from. So that was actually really interesting. All right, so thank you very much for coming, and thank you guys all for watching Keeping It Real. I'm Patrick Salerno. Have a nice day.